Am I filming my first eye look tutorial for YouTube today? I think so. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be filming my first eye look tutorial for YouTube. Pretty crazy. People have been asking me to do this for such a long time, and I'm finally chomping at the bit to do it. Like, I'm excited to do it. I feel like this is gonna be really fun. I feel like you either get to see the finished product or you get to see the finished product plus like a quick process, a quick 30-second reel of me creating the look, but we never really get into like the process and the decision making and the freestyling and like just how long it takes for me to come up with a look, because I don't plan looks out. That's not how it goes over here. I'm excited to get into this with you guys and let you guys in on what goes on in here. Let's just get into it. I'm going to start off with my favorite eye primer. This is the Kaleidos Makeup Tone Activator Eye Primer. This is the best eye primer I've ever used. It is so good. I am so glad that I finally got a restock of this, because I was holding on to my like 2-year-old bottle and like squeezing out the tiny last drops because I was waiting on a restock. Now we finally have it, so let's get into it. I just do like a little drop and blend it in. And what I like about it is it's pretty opaque, but it's not like if you were to put a full cream base down. It's opaque, but it's not like in your face opaque. I'm gonna blend that in. I think it's honestly the perfect base for creative eye looks. It's the perfect kind of blank canvas. Now it's time for me to pick a couple of palettes. I'm obviously going to use this one. This is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Alice palette. It has everything you could ever need in it. We're definitely going to use her today. And then I'm just going to take a peek in my other palettes. A lot of these are also by Blend Bunny. This one's in collaboration with Taj Reed, and it's the Little Miss She Never Misses palette, and this has a fun color story, so maybe we'll use her. For some pastels, I also have the Blend Bunny Sickly Sweet palette. I don't know, I just like to pick a bunch of palettes. I'll come up with a color story along the way. I'm just trying to get the base of like what I'm about to do. I'm trying not to repeat color stories that I've used before, but I've just been really into like swampy, gross greens. I'm gonna start with some blue, just like a fun like mid-tone blue, like that. I feel like this is also a good time to kind of give a little bit of backstory of how I got into makeup. Makeup was not my passion at all. I was not one of those girls that liked to play with makeup in high school or in elementary school. Like, I never raided my mom's makeup drawers or anything like that. I remember being in high school and being picked on a little bit for like when I did try to get into makeup, because I didn't really do it well. I felt pretty discouraged, I feel like, in high school to even experiment with stuff that I might have been interested in trying, just because my high school was very cookie cutter. But aren't all high schools like that, honestly? Like, they're all kind of somewhat like that. I remember when I first started kind of being interested in makeup in my freshman year of college, the first product I really wanted to buy for myself, like the first product that I was like, okay, like this is my foray into makeup. I had mascara, I had concealer, I had the Milk makeup tattoo stands, and I had the Taurus one and the Star one, and I wish they would bring those back because they were so good. But the first product that I really wanted to buy was the Natasha Denona Gold palette, because I loved the shades in it. And I remember my friends at the time were just like, girl, why are you buying that palette? Like, you don't even be eating like that with makeup. And I was like, oh. But I ended up buying it anyways, because I was like, you know what? There's things that I could learn. Like, I could learn to do my makeup, and I could learn to like have fun with it. Like, why not? So I bought it and I started experimenting, and my friends at the time, who weren't really my friends, would definitely pick on me a little bit about like my skill, because I didn't really have that much skill, but I was trying. It wasn't really until COVID, once that first evacuation happened, that's when I started really getting into makeup, because I was just skipping out on going to my Zoom classes because we had been evacuated from our college campus. Instead of being focused on my Zoom classes, was taking the time to experiment with makeup and try new things. And I was already doing a bunch of different things back in Boston. Like, I was doing photo shoots, I was modeling a little bit, like I was trying to kind of pursue different creative endeavors. I was painting, I was drawing. Like, I feel like I was a very artistic kid growing up, and I kind of reconnected with that during COVID. And in my like sophomore and junior year of college, I just started posting some of the silly little looks that I was coming up with at the time. Here's some of them. I was trying. I just spent a lot of time experimenting when I probably should have been paying attention to what was going on in my classes, but I was spending a lot of time experimenting and just trying new things because I was like, you know what? I would like to pursue this. I didn't want to pursue it as a career. I just wanted to pursue trying out a different artistic medium for once. And what better time to do that when the world is locked down? I'm gonna go in with the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Longing palette. Lots of dark swampy colors. I started posting my looks, and just because I was like, you know what, I like posting on Instagram anyway, so I might as well post them here. And then it kind of snowballed. I started collaborating with other artists on Instagram. I started learning more about makeup. I started developing techniques. I started developing like a style at the time that has developed even further, and it's going to continue to develop for sure. And it kind of snowballed. It really snowballed. My account just kept growing and growing and growing, and then junior year of college started, and I had come back to campus. That is when I had gotten my first brand deal, which was really crazy because I didn't expect it to turn into that. So I got my first brand deal, and it was with Urban Decay, I'm pretty sure. My first paid brand deal was with Urban Decay. And that was really cool because I had never expected me doing silly little makeup looks to turn into anything that I could make money off of. I was really, really excited. It was really nuts for me. And then from there, it just was a lot of me trying new looks, trying new products. More brands were kind of taking notice of me. I was getting added to my first PR lists. I was in communication more with brands. I was getting more brand deals. It was really crazy for me. I never had imagined that me kind of taking a leap and doing different little silly makeup looks and trying to make reels and make short form content. Like, making content was never something that I wanted to do. Like, I didn't set out being like, I want to make content. I actually started college as a biology major on the pre-veterinary track. I really, really, really wanted to be a veterinarian. I grew up loving animals. I had 2 cats growing up. I worked at the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston. I worked at the Museum of Science in Boston. Like, I was a science head. My junior year of high school, I did a program at Tufts University's Grafton campus, which is where the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine is. And I did that my junior year, and it was a 2-week program. It was so awesome. And I was so set on being a veterinarian. And then those STEM classes in college started kicking my ass. So I started to realize, I was like, I like doing this. This is fun. I'm not getting as much joy out of it that I thought that I would. So I started thinking, maybe there's something else I might want to do. Now I'm thinking if I want to start cutting right here or if I want to do something else. I think I'm going to start cutting this. I'm going to go in with my Milk micellar water, and I'm just going to start carving this little section out. Just going to take a flat brush and some micellar water. Just carve a little shape. Then I'm gonna clean it up with the makeup wipe, just so it's nice and clean. I'm gonna do the other side really quick, and then I'm gonna get back into it. So once COVID happened, that's when I had kind of decided, like, okay, I should probably start doing what I actually like doing. And that turned into me kind of taking a chance on makeup. And then I ended up switching my major. So I went from biology on the pre-veterinary track to film and media studies, which was probably one of the best decisions I made, because a lot of what I learned in film and media studies, I applied to content creation. And for this inner portion, I think I want it to be like a lighter kind of green, like maybe like a pistachio, like a muted pistachio. We're gonna mix it. This is my bag of Danessa Myricks Color Fix products. We're gonna use shade Matcha, a little bit of primary yellow. We're gonna use shade Lift as well. I'm just gonna squeeze each color out onto this palette that definitely needs to be washed. Just gonna go in with a little flat brush and mix this up and hopefully get the green that I'm looking for on the first go, which I might have actually ate that. It's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe a little bit lighter. It's kind of gross, and I kind of like how it looks. That's what I'm looking for. We're gonna lock in with her. Let's add this here. Just gonna pat this in with a little brush. Good, nice solid color. Let's do the other side. And I'm gonna blend it out just so it blends a little bit more seamlessly. But this is definitely the green that I'm looking for. She's kind of nasty. I think I'm gonna do like inner corner graphic liner. So I'm gonna let this sit for now. And now I'm gonna get into like a different section. So I like to work in different sections because I don't want to focus too much on one area, because then I'm just going to overwhelm myself. This has some stinky greens. I'm going to put some green in the middle. Like it's kind of swampy. Okay, that was kind of like the Anya origin story, and then it just kind of grew from there. I was doing a lot of brand deals out of my college dorm room junior year, and then I moved off campus my senior year because I didn't want to be an RA anymore. Yeah, I was an RA in college. I started doing brand deals out of that apartment that I had in Boston. And then when I graduated college in 2022, I was in Boston for a month and then I moved to New York. So now I've been in New York for almost 3 years now, which is kind of insane. But I ended up moving because I wanted to give myself a shot out here. A lot of brands that I work with are based out here. So it kind of made sense for me to be where all the job opportunities were for me. And I don't regret it at all. It definitely was the better choice for me to make. I've made a lot of friends out here. I've made a lot of family out here, and I wouldn't change moving to New York for the world. It was really important to me. I didn't go full-time with content creation until June of 2024. I started off here working in a couple of vintage stores. I worked at Tire Thrift, which was literally the biggest blessing. I love those girls. Shout out Letty and Alona. Those are those girls. They're literally the best. They were so supportive of me and my career and were so flexible with me and my schedule and would always cover for me or help me get coverage or just to help me out, let me leave early, like for events and things that were important in my career. Like I would not have been able to get to the point where I'm at if it wasn't for them being so kind and so flexible and so wonderful. So love you girls down. I went full-time in June because it started to become noticeable to me that I was not going to be able to do content and work at the vintage store at the same time because content was really picking up for me. And there were a lot of opportunities that were coming my way that I was having to scramble to get coverage for, which wasn't fair to the girls. So I quit in June of 2024. And literally once I quit, so many different opportunities rolled in that I never would have dreamed of. I got my first major deal with Urban Outfitters. I basically like designed my own room with Urban Outfitters and Pinterest. Like I designed a room based off of me. It was crazy. I met Rihanna. I still can't believe that happened. I won't complain about anything for the rest. Well, that's not true. I will be very mindful of how I complain for the rest of my life because I met Rihanna. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna add some more depth with some grosser greens. And I need to find a brush for that. I'm gonna go in with this green. I'm gonna go in right here. Maybe make it like a halo. I actually don't know any terminology. Why am I whispering? So that is like the Cliff Notes Anya origin story, which is really crazy that I even have one. I mean, everyone has an origin story, but I feel like I say this all the time, but like this was not the job that I envisioned myself having at all. Like this was never, content creation was never something that I was like, I feel called to do this. I want to do this. Like this is my only thing that I want to do in this life is make content. It was never like that for me. So it's kind of crazy that I'm in this position. I think I dealt with a lot of not necessarily imposter syndrome, but just feeling like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? I still feel like I struggle with that a little bit. One of the things I struggle with is I feel like I'm kind of always constantly gaslighting myself into believing that this isn't my job. I think what I mean by that is sometimes I feel silly for recording in public, or I feel like silly for talking to a camera, or I feel like the way I take pictures, sometimes I feel a little bit silly, which maybe you can't tell, but I do feel that way sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people might feel that way sometimes, but I feel like it's kind of, maybe it is a little bit of imposter syndrome, but I feel like I've somewhat gaslit myself into thinking like, why are you acting like a content creator? And it literally is my job. I feel like for me is I don't like being called an influencer because I feel like my art comes first. I feel like some artists are influencers, but not all influencers are artists. I feel like I would always call myself an artist before I call myself an influencer, even though I technically do influence. I feel like that notion in combination with the fact that I kind of gaslight myself into thinking that this isn't really my job, even though it literally is paying my bills, has kind of left me feeling like sometimes a little bit conflicted about what it is that I'm even doing. But I'm trying to grow out of it because I do like what I do. And it's a privilege to be able to like your job. It's honestly a luxury to like your job. I'm hoping that when I look back and I edit this, I'm not like totally rambling and like making no sense. And then people are like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. I feel like these greens need a little bit more like that, like bruisey yellow tone. So I'm gonna go back into the Ellis palette because it has some gross greens. Gross complimentary, not gross derogatory. I'm gonna take this concoction right here. Yeah. Put it right here. Maybe bring some this way. Yeah. Next time I'll do a Q&A to answer questions for YouTube, because now I feel like I'm like, damn, like I gotta fill all this silence with me talking. Like, what questions might people have for me? Maybe I'll try to answer some questions that I think people would have for me that maybe they don't have. Maybe I'm just making assumptions. I get a lot of my makeup inspiration from, honestly, just things that I see in my mind's eye. Try not to get too much inspiration from looking at other artists, because then it becomes a little bit of a comparison game for me. But there are artists that I am inspired by in the way that they do their work. I really like Microsoft on Instagram. I love Nazra Looks. These are people you guys definitely already know. If you know me, you definitely know these people because they're literally insane. Ifa Artist, love her. There's so many different talented makeup artists that I just love how they play with color or texture or shapes, and they definitely are always like a source of keeping my creative juices running because of the way that they kind of navigate how they do makeup. It's so cool to see. But I'm mainly inspired by colors and shapes and, I don't know, little random things that I pick up in my day-to-day life, like certain color combinations of like a Pokemon card. Damn girl, I need to stop talking about Pokemon cards. Different things I see out in public sometimes, or objects. I feel like those are things that I primarily kind of get ideas from. I'm gonna take this color and put it in the middle. I feel very amphibian, honestly. I feel like a little frog. If a frog were to wear makeup, I feel like this is the makeup that the frog would wear. I'm gonna bring more of that like gross green back, but I'm gonna bring it back from the Longing palette because there's some darker greens. I'm just gonna use it to add some depth to this outer corner. Okay, let me get back to these questions because I honestly got sidetracked. What's my favorite color? And I don't have one. I don't think there's a color that I don't like. There's definitely colors I gravitate towards or I get fixated on, like blues and greens and like hot pink. That's been one as of late. But I don't think there's like colors that I like necessarily shy away from. People ask if I'm self-taught. I am. On YouTube, I kind of grew up watching different makeup tutorials, but never doing them. I just liked watching them for the sake of watching them. I've never applied anything that I've ever picked up on in a YouTube video to my actual makeup. I can't really say that I was taught by YouTube because I wasn't, but I was entirely self-taught. I do kind of have like a little bit of a background in like painting and illustration, so I feel like the way that I used to paint, because I don't paint as much anymore, but I think the way that I paint and the way I do makeup is very similar. So I feel like they've kind of informed each other, and that's why I do my makeup the way I do my makeup. I've been asked if I would ever consider launching my own makeup line, and I don't know if I would. I actually don't really know if I would. I think I would do a collab with a makeup brand. I would, but I don't know if I would make my own line. I feel like if I were to make my own line, it would have to be something that's like really new and fresh to the market. I don't know if I'd know what products I'd want. Maybe in the future. Gonna add more depth to this crease. And then while I'm at it, because I'm getting annoyed looking at it, I'm about to set this inner quarter color with a eyeshadow that matches this shade. I'm probably gonna mix these two shades together, this green and this yellow. I'm just gonna grab like a flat brush like this. Gonna mix these up. It's definitely a bit bright, but I'm not complaining. Sometimes you just pivot, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But this is one of those times where it's actually working in our favor. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that icky green from the Ellis palette, this shade. I'm gonna see if that's gonna look good over here too. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's what I'm looking for. Yup. Setting that kind of cream pigment, or setting any kind of like liquid to cream pigment or whatever you want to call it, setting it with a powder that matches it, literally gonna take your look from a 2 to a 10. I want this color a little bit in here too. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna put like just something to brighten it up a little bit. I mean, I'm probably gonna cover this with glitter anyways, but it already is making my eyes kind of like glow, which I love. I'm trying to think about what to do in this section. I can't think of anything for up here, so we're gonna just move to a different section. That's honestly like my game plan. Whenever I get stumped, I'm like, let me go to a different section. You know when you were doing like the MCAS? Or like any other kind of standardized test growing up. Like, were y'all doing that? Your teacher would always be like, oh, like if you don't know what you're doing in one section, like go to the next section and then come back to it. That's what we're doing. We're gonna go to a different section and we're gonna work on that. I'm gonna go back in and do some blues in my under eye. That would be a pretty addition. Blues and then maybe something else. It's time to get this under eye looking right because she's looking a little bare. I also really like Lynn's makeup looks on Instagram and TikTok. Lindsay is so funny. Like when she's like, you don't look weird with eyeshadow under your eye, you're just not used to it. She's right. Like she is right. She is right. You're just not used to it and you just need to freaking do it. Like you just need to do it. She's definitely another one of those girly pops that I do like to watch and I think are super, super inspiring. So we're gonna do that kind of blue green under here and then I'm gonna deepen it up and then I'm gonna add some of that light blue because this light blue is, the camera is not doing her justice. I'm telling you, it is really not doing her justice and it is killing me because it actually looks bomb. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I think I actually did a blue under eye like this recently. I don't know why I can't remember what makeup looks that I'm doing. Let's go in with that lighter blue. I'm definitely gonna have to clean up around these edges a little bit, but I don't really care. Like it's gonna be messy. Sometimes the look is gonna be messy. I think it's easier with some of these lighter colors to just pack it in first and then dust away because I feel like that works the best for me. The photos, I use my Nikon Coolpix S9100. There was definitely an easier way to say that, but I definitely didn't do that because sometimes I like to make things complicated for myself. I use that, I put the flash on, and it looks bomb. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I think it's time to do eyeliner. Do we do it round or do we do it sharp? Let's do it sharp. I haven't done sharp in a while. I think I'm gonna make a gross, I need to stop saying that. I'm gonna use a green liner, and this is the Listen Cosmetics X Lynn's Makeup Looks Wet Liner Palette. And I think I'm gonna mix Poot and Swoop. Poot, Swoop. I know it's a wet liner palette and it's water activated, but honestly, sometimes I just use setting spray to activate it because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and get water. So that's what we're gonna do. Just gonna use the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray. Just gonna spray it all over the palette because that's how I'm getting down. I'm not gonna talk for this, I'm sorry. The girls that do graphic liner, I don't know how y'all be doing it. By far the most stress-inducing part of doing makeup. I mixed up some extra Danessa Myricks Color Fix to just correct it. I just want it to be perfect because I am a raging perfectionist. I can't go in and tidy this up a little bit because it could be cleaner. I'm not gonna stress myself out over this. Like I can't. I'm gonna go in with some eyeliner. This is MAC Eye Kohl in the shade Smolder. Just gonna pull this down with the cap and then go in with the liner. My left eye tends to water more than my right eye. I don't know why. Maybe she's just sensitive, but we gotta be careful for her. And I'm gonna buff that in with a little bit of black eyeshadow, or at least like a dark blue, just to make it a little bit more seamless. Where did that come from? They're trying to catch me out here lacking. We still have to work on what's going on up here. I think I just want to like use those gross greens. Just picking some of that up on like a flat brush and just tapping it in and bringing it down so it'll blend with the other colors. Like that looks, we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna tuck some under this liner too. Maybe I'm getting a little trigger happy with this color, but I honestly don't care. Ugh, it's just so good. I love colors like this. Like there's just something about it that it just does it. But now this feels kind of yellow up here, which I don't like. So we gotta find a way to make that fun. And I think I'm also gonna do my lashes now, just because I don't like what's going on up here. I need to distract myself with something that I'm like, yes. I could do my lashes in this like electric blue. That might be kind of fun. Let's just try it out. Just going back in with the wet liner palette and mixing a couple of shades together. I mixed that blue and the teal. This is a fun shade. It's kind of like one of those blue poison dart frog, which I like. I like frogs. Just making sure all my lashes are coated. This is what I've been liking using lately to kind of make my lashes pop, is this wet liner palette. Like I just think it works perfectly. Let's do the other side. Yeah, that's pretty. Wow. That blue. And I'm starting to get itchy for glitter, so I'm gonna go in with the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 5 I Am palette, because this has some of my favorite glitters of all time, especially this blue, which I'm definitely using today. Even though I've used it in like the past 2 looks, I don't care. I love it. I think I'm gonna use this green right here in the middle though. I haven't used this shade before, so I'm gonna try it out. I'm just gonna pick some up on my finger because I feel like that works the best, and this is what it looks like. Pat it on top. That's really pretty. Build up this intensity a little bit and diffuse it with my other fingers that don't have any product on it. Yeah, this is a pretty green. I'm gonna pick up some of that blue that I showed you guys. This is one of my favorite blues. I'm gonna pat it just in this like light blue section right here. This photographs so beautifully with the back flash. Like I cannot wait to insert pictures at the end so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it is, I love it so much. Literally filming it on my phone in this lighting unfortunately does it like no justice. You guys can kind of see it. I'm gonna pick up a little bit on my finger just to tap it into like right into the brow bone, just so you can, now you're starting to see it a little bit. Just kind of punch the pigment in. Certain areas will be more concentrated than other areas, which I think is like a really nice effect. And I'm gonna put some under here because why not? I'm gonna try this out. It's the Kaleidos Makeup Space Age highlighter in the shade Prophecy. This shade and the other shade Gifted are two of my favorite highlighter shades. I'm gonna try this one out. I haven't used it in a really long time, but I think it'll look good because it has a kind of orangey base. You can't really tell, but it shifts to lime green. So I think that that might make this area more interesting. So I'm just gonna pick it up on my finger. See, that's what it looks like. It's really insane. I think that's perfect. I'm gonna go in with my favorite mascara, the Milk Kush High Roll Mascara, just for my top lashes, because we already did the bottom. Literally my favorite mascara. I honestly stopped wearing false lashes just because, one, I felt like they irritated my contacts a little bit, and two, it kind of just gives. Just get all my little lashes, make sure they all get coated so they're nice and dark and curled. Lashes are done. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Prophecy on my cheekbones just to add a little bit of shimmer there too. And I feel like it'll make the rest look cohesive. That's so strong. That is so strong. It reads more orange on my cheeks, which could be cool. I'm gonna redraw some of these beauty marks with the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks liner. This is the shade Whiskey, and I'm just gonna fill in some of the ones that got covered up or got erased, just because I feel like these add a little je ne sais quoi. This is definitely the part where I'm like almost done with the makeup, but I started dissociating, so I end up sitting for like 30 minutes and not doing any work because I've burnt myself a little bit. We're almost done. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to add before I do my lip combo, because once I do my lip combo, that's it. I'm going with MAC Cork, because honestly, I don't want to focus on doing anything too crazy. I'm just gonna do Cork because she never lets me down. I forgot to moisturize. Before I do too much, I'm gonna go in with my Prada Balm because these lips were feeling dry, real dry. Moisturizing your lips just makes the product go on so much smoother. And I think I'm just gonna use kind of like a yellowy shade. So I'm gonna go in with MAC Call It Cozy, kind of like a yellow tone, kind of brown. Cleaning up these edges. Need a little bit more dimension. I'm gonna use a little bit of Acting Natural and then a little bit more of Call It Cozy on top. Because sometimes you want to get the right shade and you're not going to get it in the first go. Sometimes you just got to mix and match a little bit. And I think I'm going to leave the lips matte today because I've been doing a little glossy lip, and I think I'm going to leave it. And we're locking it in. I'm going to go in with this Canon, the One Size Until Dawn setting spray. And we're all done. This is the final look. Lots of decisions, lots of back and forth and thinking and pondering and calculating. It really is a science. This is the final look. Here are the pictures I took. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys got a little glimpse of how I do my makeup and my process. And I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below what looks you want to see me try. Give me color schemes, give me ideas, give me shapes, give me textures. Let me know what you want to see, and maybe I will film a little tutorial for it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Bye.